What if the safety you cling to is nothing but an illusion? What if, in the quiet corners of a peaceful town, a faceless predator lurks, watching, waiting, and striking when least expected? Tonight, we delve into one of the darkest and most chilling mysteries in American history, the Texarkana Moonlight Murders. A series of brutal attacks that turned a small town into a living nightmare, leaving behind shattered lives, unanswered questions, and a shadow that still haunts Texarkana to this day. This is not just another unsolved crime. It's a story that will make you question the very fabric of security, trust, and the darkness hiding in plain sight. Who was the Phantom Killer? Why did he stop? And could he have been someone living among them all along? Stay with us until the end as we uncover the chilling truths behind these real-life horrors, truths that will leave you looking over your shoulder long after the video ends. Before we dive into this terrifying tale, I have one quick request. Did you know that most of you watching right now aren't subscribed to this channel? If you're captivated by stories that reveal the darkest mysteries and expose chilling truths hidden in plain sight, hit that subscribe button now. Join our community of curious minds and ensure you never miss an episode that could change the way you see the world forever. Now brace yourself, because once you hear this story, you'll never look at a quiet town or a moonlit night the same way again. Let's begin. The first attack happened on a quiet Friday night, February 22, 1946. Jimmy Hollis and his girlfriend, Mary Jean Larry, had just left the movie theater and decided to park along a secluded road near Texarkana. It was supposed to be a peaceful end to their evening, a moment of privacy away from the world. But at around 11:45 p.m., their solitude was shattered when a masked figure appeared at Jimmy's window. The mask was crude, resembling a pillowcase with two uneven holes cut out for eyes, giving the man an eerie, faceless appearance. Without hesitation, he ordered them out of the car at gunpoint. What followed was pure horror. Jimmy was brutally beaten with the butt of the assailant's gun, his skull fractured in multiple places. Mary Jean tried to reason with the attacker, but was dragged into the darkness and assaulted. Despite their injuries and trauma, both survived the ordeal and provided conflicting descriptions of their attacker. Jimmy believed he was a tanned white man in his 30s, while Mary Jeannie thought he might be a light-skinned African-American. Their survival marked them as witnesses to what would become one of the most terrifying crime sprees in Texarkana's history. Just a month after the first attack, the Phantom Killer struck again on March 24, 1946. This time, Richard Griffin and Polly Ann Moore were found brutally murdered in Griffin's car along another isolated road. Both had been shot execution-style in the back of the head with a .32 caliber revolver. Blood evidence suggested that they were killed outside the vehicle and then placed back inside. The scene was eerily methodical, as if the killer had taken his time to stage it. Unlike the first attack, there were no survivors to provide conflicting descriptions, only silence and fear left behind. The murders sent shockwaves through Texarkana. People began to change their routines, avoiding secluded areas and locking their doors at night for the first time in years. But before the town could fully process the horror of this second attack, another tragedy unfolded just weeks later. On April 14th, Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker became the Phantom's next victims. Their bodies were discovered miles apart, with Martin shot 4 times and Booker twice. The young girl's saxophone, a prized possession she carried from her performance earlier that evening, was missing. Another chilling detail in a case growing darker by the day. The community's fear turned into paranoia as the Phantom Killer's attacks became more unpredictable. By May 3, 1946, the killer had shifted his method, targeting Virgil and Katie Starks in their rural home. Virgil was shot twice through a closed window while sitting in his living room reading the newspaper. Katie, hearing the gunshots, tried to call for help but was shot twice in the face before managing to escape to a neighbor's house. Unlike the previous murders, this attack occurred indoors, breaking the pattern of isolated outdoor crimes. The use of a .22 caliber rifle instead of the .32 caliber revolver also raised questions about whether this was the same perpetrator or a copycat. Despite these inconsistencies, the attack on the Starks family amplified the town's hysteria. People began barricading themselves indoors, covering windows with sheets and arming themselves with whatever weapons they could find. The streets of Texarkana emptied at night, giving it an eerie ghost town atmosphere. Law enforcement ramped up their efforts, involving local police, state authorities, and even the Texas Rangers. Yet, despite their combined resources and growing public desperation for answers, no suspect was definitively identified or charged. Despite the heightened security measures and increased police presence, the Phantom Killer seemed to vanish as mysteriously as he had appeared. The summer of 1946 passed without further attacks, but the damage had already been done. Texarkana was no longer the same town it had been before. February of that year. The fear lingered, and so did the questions. Who was the Phantom Killer? Why did he stop? Was he dead, in prison for another crime, or simply living among them, blending into the crowd? These unanswered questions haunted the community for decades. The case became a chilling reminder of how fragile a sense of safety can be. Over time, Texarkana tried to move on, but the scars remained. Every few years, new theories would emerge, and old suspects would be re-examined. The story of the Phantom Killer transformed into local folklore, a cautionary tale passed down through generations. It wasn't just a story about an unknown murderer. It was about a town forever changed by fear. Even decades later, the mystery of the Phantom Killer continues to haunt Texarkana. The case remains officially unsolved, leaving room for endless speculation and theories. Some believe the killer was someone local, hiding in plain sight, while others think he may have been a transient who left the area after the murders. The lack of closure has only fueled the story's infamy, turning it into a dark legend that still looms over the town. For many residents, the events of 1946 are not just history, they are a chilling reminder of how quickly life can descend into chaos. Today, Texarkana embraces its eerie past with an annual screening of The Town That Dreaded Sundown, a film that both dramatizes and memorializes the horrors of that year. While some see it as a way to confront the town's history, others feel it trivializes the pain and fear that once gripped their community. Regardless of perspective, one thing is certain: the Phantom Killer's shadow still lingers, a ghostly presence in both memory and myth. As the years passed, the story of the Phantom Killer evolved from a local tragedy into a cultural phenomenon. The 1976 film, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, played a significant role in cementing the case's eerie legacy. While dramatized, the movie captured the palpable fear that had gripped Texarkana during those terrifying months in 1946. Its semi-documentary style blurred the lines between fact and fiction, ensuring the events would not be forgotten. The film's annual screening at Spring Lake Park became both a macabre tradition and a way for the town to confront its haunted past. However, not everyone embraced this legacy. For some residents, the screenings felt like reopening old wounds, trivializing the real pain endured by victims and their families. Yet, despite mixed feelings, the Phantom Killer's story continued to inspire books, documentaries, and even podcasts. True crime enthusiasts and horror fans alike dissected every detail of the case, turning it into a chilling puzzle that refused to fade into obscurity. The psychological toll of the Phantom Killer extended far beyond the immediate victims and their families. For years, residents of Texarkana reported sleepless nights, plagued by the thought that the killer might return. Some claimed to hear phantom footsteps outside their windows or see shadowy figures lurking in the streets. These fears weren't entirely irrational. After all, the killer had proven capable of striking when least expected. The paranoia seeped into daily life, creating an atmosphere of distrust where neighbors viewed each other with suspicion. This collective anxiety wasn't limited to Texarkana. The case gained national attention, with newspapers across the country publishing sensationalized accounts of the murders. The media frenzy only deepened the mystery and fear surrounding the Phantom Killer. As theories about his identity grew wilder, so did the public's fascination with him. He became a symbol of the unknown, a nameless, faceless figure capable of upending lives without warning. Even with the passing of decades, the Phantom Killer's case remains a chilling enigma. Investigators, both professional and amateur, have spent years combing through evidence, reanalyzing testimonies, and theorizing about the identity of the murderer. Yet, no definitive answers have emerged. Theories range from plausible to outlandish. Some believe the killer was a local who knew the area intimately, while others speculate he was a drifter who moved on after his spree. The lack of resolution has only deepened the case's mystique, turning it into one of America's most infamous unsolved crimes. For Texarkana, the Phantom Killer is more than just a story. It's a scar etched into the town's collective memory. Residents who lived through that time often speak of how it changed their lives forever. The fear wasn't just about the murders, it was about what they represented. The sudden, inexplicable intrusion of violence into a once peaceful community. To this day, the case serves as a grim reminder of how quickly safety can be shattered. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders left an indelible mark on the psyche of the town. In the years following the attacks, residents struggled to regain a sense of normalcy. The once carefree atmosphere of Texarkana was replaced by a pervasive unease. Families who had never locked their doors now lived behind barricades, and the sound of footsteps at night became a source of dread rather than comfort. The Phantom Killer had done more than take lives. He had stolen the town's innocence. For those who survived, the scars ran deeper than physical wounds. Mary Jean Larry, one of the first victims, reportedly moved away from Texarkana, unable to bear the weight of her memories. Others, like Katie Starks, carried their trauma quietly, their lives forever altered by a single night of terror. Even those who hadn't been directly affected felt the ripple effects. Texarkana was no longer a place where people felt safe. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders stand as a chilling testament to the fragility of safety and the enduring power of fear. The killer's ability to strike without warning, leaving behind no clear motive or identity, turned the case into a psychological puzzle that has captivated generations. For criminologists, the Phantom Killer represents the archetype of an unpredictable predator. Someone who defies profiling and operates outside the boundaries of conventional understanding. His attacks were calculated yet chaotic, leaving investigators grappling with fragments of evidence that never quite fit together. What makes the Phantom Killer so terrifying isn't just his anonymity, but the way he shattered the illusion of control. Texarkana was a town where people felt safe, where couples could park on quiet roads without a second thought. But after 1946, every shadow seemed suspect, every stranger a potential threat. The killer's mask, a crude, faceless sheet, symbolized this loss of identity and trust, turning him into a figure not just of physical danger, but existential dread. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders didn't just leave a psychological scar on the town. They also sparked a nationwide conversation about safety and crime. The events of 1946 highlighted the vulnerabilities of small communities where trust and familiarity had once been the norm. In the years following the attacks, other towns across America began to adopt stricter safety measures, inspired by Texarkana's response to the terror. The case became a cautionary tale, a grim reminder that even the most peaceful places are not immune to sudden violence. For true crime enthusiasts and historians, the Phantom Killer represents one of the most enduring mysteries in American history. His anonymity and the randomness of his crimes have turned him into a symbol of fear itself, a faceless predator who could be anyone and strike anywhere. The lack of resolution has only amplified his legend, ensuring that his story remains a subject of fascination and dread for generations to come. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders occupy a unique space in the annals of American true crime. Unlike many other cases of serial violence, the Phantom Killer's spree was brief yet devastating, leaving a lasting impression not just on Texarkana, but on the broader cultural landscape. The case's unresolved nature has made it a focal point for criminologists, historians, and true crime enthusiasts alike. Each new generation revisits the evidence, hoping to uncover a clue that might finally solve the mystery. But with most of the original witnesses and investigators now gone, the likelihood of closure grows slimmer with each passing year. What sets the Phantom Killer apart is how deeply his crimes resonated beyond their immediate impact. His faceless mask and unpredictable methods turned him into a symbol of fear itself, a representation of how violence can erupt without warning and shatter lives. The case has been immortalized not only through films like The Town That Dreaded Sundown, but also through countless books, documentaries, and podcasts. These retellings ensure that the Phantom Killer's legacy endures, even as time erases the physical traces of his crimes. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders also had a profound effect on law enforcement practices in the region. The sheer brutality and randomness of the crimes forced local police departments to adopt more coordinated efforts, including collaboration between Arkansas and Texas authorities. The involvement of high-profile figures like Captain Manuel T. Gonzalez of the Texas Rangers brought a level of expertise and visibility that was unprecedented for the time. Despite these efforts, the lack of modern forensic technology and the killer's cunning made solving the case nearly impossible. The investigation also highlighted weaknesses in rural policing during the 1940s, such as limited resources and jurisdictional conflicts. These challenges spurred discussions about improving communication between neighboring law enforcement agencies. While the Phantom Killer was never caught, his crimes indirectly contributed to advancements in investigative techniques and interdepartmental cooperation, leaving a legacy that extended beyond Texarkana. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Phantom Killer was his apparent lack of motive. Unlike many serial criminals, he didn't seem to fit a clear psychological pattern. Experts at the time, such as Dr. Anthony LaPala, speculated that he was highly intelligent, methodical, and likely lived an unassuming life outside of his crimes. His attacks were calculated yet unpredictable, targeting couples in isolated areas with chilling precision. The mask he wore, a crude white covering with eye holes, added a layer of anonymity that made him seem less human and more like a force of nature. This lack of identity turned the Phantom Killer into a symbol of existential fear, representing the unknown and uncontrollable. His ability to elude capture despite the combined efforts of local police, state authorities, and even the FBI only deepened his mystique. For Texarkana's residents, he wasn't just a man, he was a shadow that could strike anywhere, at any time. This psychological grip on the town ensured that even after the attacks stopped, his presence lingered in their collective consciousness. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders didn't just haunt the town, they also shaped the horror genre in significant ways. The masked killer archetype, popularized by films like The Town That Dreaded Sundown, became a staple of slasher movies. The faceless, anonymous predator who strikes without warning tapped into universal fears, influencing iconic villains like Michael Myers from Halloween and Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. These characters, much like the Phantom Killer, embody the idea of unstoppable, motiveless evil, an antagonist who exists solely to instill terror. What makes the Phantom Killer's legacy unique is how it bridges reality and fiction. Unlike most horror movie villains, his story is rooted in actual events, giving it a chilling authenticity that resonates deeply with audiences. The annual Screenings of the town that dreaded sundown in Texarkana serve as a reminder of this connection, blending local history with cinematic tradition. For many, watching the film isn't just entertainment, it's a way to confront the lingering shadow of the Phantom Killer. Even with decades of analysis and investigation, the Phantom Killer's identity remains shrouded in mystery. The lack of definitive evidence has led to countless theories, with suspects ranging from local criminals to complete outsiders. Ewell Swinney, a known car thief, was considered the prime suspect due to circumstantial evidence and his wife's initial confession, though her testimony was later deemed unreliable. Other suspects like Henry Doody Tennyson and Ralph Bauman also emerged, but were ultimately dismissed due to insufficient proof. The inability to conclusively identify the killer has turned the case into one of America's most infamous unsolved crimes. This unresolved status has only amplified the legend surrounding the Phantom Killer. For Texarkana residents, the case represents more than just a series of murders. It symbolizes the fragility of peace and the enduring power of fear. The killer's ability to strike without warning and disappear without a trace has left an indelible mark on the town's history. As new generations learn about the crimes, they inherit not only the story, but also the lingering unease that comes with knowing justice was never served. The Phantom Killer's story has transcended its historical roots, becoming a symbol of the unknown and the terrifying. His faceless mask, his random yet calculated attacks, and his ability to disappear without a trace have turned him into an archetype of fear. In modern culture, he represents the primal anxiety of being vulnerable in what should be safe spaces, whether it's a quiet road, a home, or even a community. This universal fear has ensured that his legend continues to resonate, influencing not only true crime enthusiasts, but also broader cultural narratives. The case's enduring mystery has inspired countless reinterpretations in various media. From books and documentaries to podcasts and films, the Phantom Killer's story has been dissected and reimagined time and again. Each retelling adds another layer to his mythos, ensuring that his shadow looms large over Texarkana and beyond. For those who delve into his story, the Phantom Killer is not just a figure of the past. He is a reminder of how thin the line between safety and chaos truly is. The unresolved nature of the Texarkana Moonlight Murders has ensured that the Phantom Killer remains a figure of enduring fascination. His anonymity, combined with the brutality of his crimes, has turned him into a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that some mysteries refuse to be solved. Over the years, true crime enthusiasts and professional investigators alike have revisited the case, hoping to uncover new evidence or insights. Yet, despite advances in forensic science and investigative techniques, the identity of the Phantom Killer remains elusive. This lack of closure has only deepened the case's cultural impact. The Phantom Killer's story continues to captivate audiences through books, documentaries, and films. His faceless mask and random attacks have become iconic, influencing not only true crime narratives but also horror fiction. For many, the Phantom Killer represents more than just a historical figure. He is a haunting reminder of how fear can linger long after the violence has ended. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders didn't just leave a community in shock, they also became a case study in the psychological effects of unresolved violence. The randomness of the attacks and the killer's ability to evade capture created a unique kind of fear, one that lingered long after the crimes stopped. For many residents, the Phantom Killer wasn't just a man, he was a symbol of chaos, a reminder that safety is never guaranteed. This pervasive anxiety reshaped how people lived their lives, from locking doors to avoiding isolated areas at night. The cultural impact of the murders extended far beyond Texarkana. The case became a touchstone for discussions about crime, safety, and the fragility of trust within communities. It also served as inspiration for countless works of fiction, from films to books and even podcasts. The Phantom Killer's story tapped into universal fears, ensuring its place in the broader cultural imagination. Decades later, it remains a haunting reminder of how quickly life can change when confronted with the unknown. The Phantom Killer has become more than a historical figure. He is now a part of Texarkana's folklore. His story is retold not just in true crime circles, but also as a cautionary tale passed down through generations. Parents warn their children about the dangers of isolated roads, and locals recount the eerie nights of 1946 as if they happened yesterday. This blending of history and myth has ensured that the Phantom Killer remains a haunting presence in the town's collective consciousness. Texarkana's annual traditions, such as the screening of The Town That Dreaded Sundown, further cement his place in local culture. For some, these events are an opportunity to confront the past and honor the victims, while for others, they are a reminder of unresolved terror. The Phantom Killer's legacy is not just about fear, it's about how communities cope with tragedy and attempt to reclaim their sense of identity in the aftermath. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders remain one of the most perplexing unsolved cases in American history. Despite the passage of nearly 8 decades, the identity of the Phantom Killer continues to elude investigators and true crime enthusiasts alike. His ability to evade capture, combined with his methodical yet brutal approach, has turned him into a figure of both fear and fascination. The lack of resolution has left a void that countless theories have tried to fill, but none have provided the definitive answers that Texarkana and the world seek. For those who lived through the terror of 1946, the Phantom Killer was not just a criminal, he was a specter that shattered their sense of security. His faceless mask and random attacks embodied the unpredictability of violence, leaving a psychological scar on the town that lingers to this day. The case's enduring mystery ensures that his shadow looms large, reminding us that some questions may never be answered. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders continue to baffle investigators and haunt the imaginations of true crime enthusiasts. The Phantom Killer's ability to vanish without a trace, leaving behind no clear evidence or motive, has elevated him to near mythical status. Despite numerous suspects and decades of speculation, no definitive answers have emerged. Theories range from plausible suspects like U.L. Swinney to more speculative ideas involving multiple killers or a transient individual who moved on after the spree. The lack of resolution has turned the case into a symbol of unanswered questions and lingering fear. For Texarkana, the Phantom Killer represents more than just an unsolved crime. He embodies the fragility of peace and security. His attacks shattered the town's sense of normalcy, leaving a legacy of paranoia and caution that persists even today. As new generations learn about the murders, they inherit not only the story, but also the unease that comes with knowing justice was never served. The Phantom Killer's shadow remains a chilling reminder of how some mysteries refuse to fade away. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders, despite the passage of time, remain a chilling reminder of how some mysteries defy resolution. The randomness of the attacks and the lack of a clear motive have left investigators and enthusiasts grappling with unanswered questions for decades. Was the Phantom Killer someone local, blending into the community, or a drifter who vanished as suddenly as he appeared? These uncertainties have only added to the case's mystique, ensuring its place as one of America's most infamous, unsolved crimes. For Texarkana residents, the Phantom Killer is more than just a historical figure. He is a symbol of vulnerability and the fragility of peace. His story has become a part of the town's identity, woven into its folklore and collective memory. As new generations hear about the events of 1946, they inherit not only the chilling details, but also the unease that comes with knowing that some shadows never truly disappear. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders serve as a chilling reminder of how unresolved violence can ripple through generations. The Phantom Killer's anonymity, combined with the brutality of his crimes, has turned him into an enduring symbol of fear. For Texarkana residents, the events of 1946 marked the end of an era, an abrupt shift from trust and openness to paranoia and caution. His faceless mask and random attacks shattered the town's sense of safety, leaving scars that remain visible even decades later. As the story continues to captivate audiences through films, books, and documentaries, the Phantom Killer's legacy grows stronger. He represents not only a historical enigma, but also a universal fear. The idea that danger can strike anywhere, at any time, without warning. For those who delve into his story, the Phantom Killer is more than just a figure from the past. He is a haunting presence that reminds us of the fragility of peace. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders remain a chilling case study in how unresolved crimes can shape a community's identity. The Phantom Killer's anonymity, coupled with the randomness of his attacks, ensured that his story would transcend its historical context to become a cultural touchstone. His faceless mask and calculated violence symbolize the primal fear of the unknown, an antagonist who strikes without warning and vanishes without a trace. For Texarkana, the events of 1946 were more than just a series of murders. They marked the end of an era of innocence and trust. As time marches on, the Phantom Killer's legacy continues to evolve. Through films, books, documentaries, and podcasts, his story is retold to new audiences, ensuring that the fear he inspired remains alive. For true crime enthusiasts and horror fans alike, the Texarkana Moonlight Murders are not just a historical curiosity, they are a haunting reminder of how some mysteries refuse to be solved, leaving behind only shadows and questions. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders are more than just a chilling chapter in American crime history. They are a reflection of society's enduring fascination with the unknown. The Phantom Killer's faceless mask and his ability to strike without warning have turned him into a cultural symbol of fear, inspiring countless works of fiction and influencing the horror genre for decades. His story is not just about the crimes he committed, but also about the psychological and cultural impact he left behind. For Texarkana, the events of 1946 marked a turning point, transforming a quiet town into a place synonymous with terror. The murders shattered the community's sense of safety, leaving scars that never fully healed. Even today, the Phantom Killer's shadow lingers in the collective memory of Texarkana, reminding us of how easily peace can be disrupted by the unknown. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders, though rooted in a specific time and place, have transcended their historical context to become a universal tale of fear and mystery. The Phantom Killer's faceless identity and the randomness of his violence have ensured his place as one of the most haunting figures in true crime history. His story is not merely about the crimes he committed, but about the psychological and cultural scars he left behind, a reminder of how fragile the sense of safety can be. For Texarkana, the events of 1946 marked a permanent transformation. The town's collective memory carries the weight of those 10 weeks, blending history with folklore and ensuring that the Phantom Killer's shadow remains ever present. As his story continues to be retold through films, books, and other media, it serves as both a cautionary tale and a chilling reflection on the unknown forces that can disrupt lives without warning. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders remain one of the most chilling mysteries in American history, a haunting reminder of how fragile our sense of safety can be. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Phantom Killer was someone hiding in plain sight, or did he vanish forever into the shadows? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. If you enjoyed uncovering this dark chapter of history, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. By subscribing, you'll never miss a chance to explore more unsettling mysteries and real-life horrors that will keep you questioning everything. And before you go, Check out the next video on your screen. It dives into another unsolved case that will leave you speechless. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious and stay safe. I'm Jack, signing off. See you soon. Did you like this conclusion, or would you like me to adjust anything? Let me know.